So a warm welcome again to our webinar for manufacturing and for SAP Digital Manufacturing Cloud for the process industry. In the next 40-45 minutes, we will give you an overview of what the Digital Manufacturing Cloud is and how it applies specifically to challenges in the process industry. I will be joined by two of my colleagues today. So maybe a quick introduction of myself first. My name is Marco Trottmann. I'm globally responsible for our practice here. And before we get started, I want to give you a very brief overview of the different sections that we're going to go through. So as mentioned, we're going to introduce the Digital Manufacturing Cloud. It's a new product. We're going to talk a little bit about how it differs from the classical SAP solutions. Then we're going to do a deep dive into functionalities that are delivered specifically for the process industry. Then we look into also how you can tailor it. So there's a lot of out-of-the-box functionality coming, but of course every process is different. So we will look into options for tailoring this to your specific operations. Then we'll look a little bit into connectivity. In a complex manufacturing environment, how does this solution fit? How will connectivity be made and how will it be secure, of course? And then in the end, and I think that's going to be a very exciting one, we're going to look at a system demo. So you will see a live demo of some of the functionality. And then we have some time reserved for questions. I will ask my colleagues quickly to introduce themselves. Again, quickly, I'm responsible for our practice, and I'm joined today by Eugenia and Alexander. So Eugenia, maybe you want to introduce yourself next.
Hello, everybody. So I'm a consultant in the Industry 4.0 practice and in charge of the Digital Manufacturing Cloud solutions. So I'll be glad today to present to you the functionalities for the process industry together with my colleagues, Alexander. So, thanks for being here today.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Alexander Hero. Some of you might know me from other webinars that we held before. I'm also part of the Industry 4.0 team and excited to talk about DMC in the process industry today.
Thank you. So before we get started, just a very brief 1-minute introduction about Westernacher. Who are we? Westernacher Consulting. We're a global and niche consulting company. We're focused on the digital supply chain with SAP solutions. You can see here we're represented in 19 countries in 26 cities as one global team. We're represented in all important regions of the world. Our global headquarters are in Heidelberg in Germany. And with our global team, we help deliver innovative IT solutions and process consulting to our customer base worldwide. At the bottom, you can see our portfolio. So we're starting from enterprise transformations as S/4HANA implementations, and then have a specific focus on the digital supply chain, which includes planning, warehouse management, transportation management, yard logistics, and of course the manufacturing was what we put our focus on for this presentation, the newest solution from SAP Digital Manufacturing Cloud. And then surrounding modules, of course, asset management, advanced analytics. In any challenges you face for modernizing your systems, modernizing your processes, just overcoming technology challenges, we're your go-to partner. In the service portfolio for the intelligent enterprise, we're looking now at the cloud solutions from SAP. So those comprise of asset management and digital manufacturing. And both of those solutions are fully integrated end-to-end into the existing S/4HANA portfolio in different deployment options. And to give you some more information about that, I will hand it over to my colleague Alex, and then we get started with the actual content. Thank you so much, and have a lot of fun in the next 30-40 minutes.
Okay, then let's get directly into the subject matter. First of all, I want to talk about how the public cloud will change supply chain execution and in manufacturing in general. So as we had some customers that specifically asked on the changes that they must expect when implementing a software as a service or a public cloud solution. So starting with the first point of an easy implementation, basically this point displays that the cloud is a pre-built solution already running, in this case on SAP servers, and where you can choose between the services and functionalities you need or require. So this is switching really the complexity from implementing physical objects on-premise to developing the services on the cloud, which of course is the task of the cloud provider, in this case SAP. And you as a customer can then access the already built solution, basically. So also in this regard, in SAP's case, the cloud applications are based on the SAP Fiori design, which is way prettier and way more intuitive than the old SAP interfaces. Hand in hand with the implementation simplicity, the scalability lets you easily increase or decrease processing capacities. And also you have the scalability in that sense that you can book new services and functions as you need them within the cloud. Coming to the next point, as innovation cycles are getting shorter throughout the years, it is basically often no longer suitable anymore to have long IT implementation cycles. So with time-intensive development, testing, and implementation phases, this is all just taking too long. So in the public cloud, new functionalities are provided frequently and continuously. So in SAP's public cloud, or respectively in the Digital Manufacturing Cloud, also you have the individual applications updated every 3 months. Coming to the aspect of data security, privacy, and compliance, which are of course valid concerns of manufacturers, especially when they work in highly regulated industries such as the food and beverage industry. So just in short to that, SAP has assigned designated teams that are developing industry-specific solutions within the DMC in this case, giving a high attention to the industry-specific or relevant regulations. Lastly, I want to talk about the concern that often comes up when talking about the public cloud is the lack of possibility to tailor the solution. So as this is of course a known concern, solutions in SAP, and especially in the Digital Manufacturing Cloud again, which we will come to in a second, these are highly modular. So meaning basically that you have a big pool of standard applications and services and also plugins that are provided by SAP already, that you can just use out of the box, which you can access then as you need them. On the other hand, SAP provides tools to develop your own applications and functions and plug them into the existing solution. So you have more of a hybrid cloud. So for us, this openness is really one of the biggest benefits of SAP's and the DMC's cloud solutions. So, but we will see this at the later part of the presentation also. Now, coming to the Digital Manufacturing Cloud, as we have discussed this picture right in front of you in previous webinars to a large extent, I will only shortly go into this. But basically, as you can see, the Digital Manufacturing Cloud consists of 3 main elements, which is execution, DMC for insights, and DMC for resource orchestration. So these are all three are licensable in itself. So execution is for production holds supporting tool for production, automation, and manual production. The insights is the analytical tool, and the resource orchestration is a tool for short-term planning where you can assign your production orders to your resources and your workers on the shop floor. The execution module holds both the insights and resource orchestration module. So when you purchase execution, you get both or all three solutions: execution, insights, and resource orchestration. And of course, the DMC has or is integrated to SAP S/4HANA, but can also be integrated to every other SAP ERP system. Now, coming to the topic on why the DMC is a suitable solution for process industry scenarios. So in contrast to the discrete industry, the process industry is often more automated with machines controlling the different process flow. However, often still manual steps are the quality inspection, of course, and for example, weighing and dispensing, etc., etc. So due to this high automation and high quality standards in the process industry, it is very, very important for manufacturers to have sophisticated monitoring tools and also tracking tools, of course. So seeing what is actually happening on the production floor is key to basically take well-founded actions and conduct the production precisely. Also, the digital and optimized documentation of data and tracking of individual batches and charges states a big requirement, especially in the mentioned highly regulated industries. And lastly, of course, we have, or as in any other industry, meaningful KPIs are crucial to make profound strategic decisions. So on the right-hand side, we can see that the DMC is providing already supporting functionalities in all the different areas that I just named as relevant for the process industry. So it is giving the possibilities to ensure the quality, manage and maintain process control, as well as monitoring and analyzing the production. So for example, you can perform inspection at any point in the production and send the information back to the ERP system. You can monitor overall equipment effectiveness of your individual production lines and also look into history of your produced batches, just to name just some examples. But in the following, we will provide an overview of some of the different services and applications that enable manufacturers in the process industry to ensure a smooth production. Now, so on this slide, I will also not go into extensive detail, as these are the general characteristics of the DMC, which are mostly similar to these of the discrete industry, and they differ mostly in the specific expressions of these characteristics within the Digital Manufacturing Cloud. On the left top side, we have the already mentioned monitoring and analysis part. So interesting here is that you can analyze your production with standardized or customized KPIs on different hierarchy levels, as granular as the individual machine all the way up to the enterprise, basically. As this analysis part is mostly integrated into DMC insights, it could, of course, be a possibility for producers to only purchase the insight solution and add the self-maintaining machines on the shop floor to gain insights into the aggregated information on what is actually happening down on the shop floor. On the right-hand side, we have the part that says that DMC is a fully configurable solution. So when we think of production operator dashboards, we have functionalities to basically per drag and drop functionalities build our dashboards as we like them, with the standard capabilities and the customized capabilities. And we can also design our production processes as we need them. On the left bottom side, we can see the intuitive and frictionless production handling. So when we think of an end-to-end process, We have the resource orchestration module at the start where we can schedule our orders, etc. We can perform our production, whether that is manual or automatic, and we can easily onboard various shop floor devices. And to round this up, we have an integrated execution. So we have, like I said before, integrations into the warehouse systems, the QM or quality management systems of the ERP system, so that all the information that is lying within the DMC is sent back to other execution systems or backend systems like the ERP system. Now, so with this slide, we want to highlight that the continuous flow of batch production process is supported by the DMC. So when we think of an end-to-end scenario again, we start with the replication of our master data that we have within the ERP system to the DMC. So all of our work centers, recipes, shifts, and the individual workers' work centers are replicated and can be then seen within the DMC. You can also create your master data from scratch within the DMC. And if you want to extend your recipes with, for example, data collections, you can do that. You can add work instructions and add specific process parameters to your different recipes in this case. In the solution itself, you can perform your production through a production operated dashboard, where you are able to perform manual steps, look into relevant machine indicators, and report component consumptions, etc., etc. What you're also capable of is that you can split your batches into different charges. So, for example, when you want to deploy one batch to different production lines, you can do this within the DMC. And yeah, there is a differentiation between main products, co-products, and by-products, just as we know it from the SAP Manufacturing Execution Solutions, SAP ME, so that you can really track, okay, what is my inventory or actual inventory, what is byproduct, what is co-product, what is main product, so that we have the inventory displayed in the system that is actually on the shop floor. And further, you can look into post-production dashboards that give you different possibilities to report data that was collected with pen and paper during the production, or it lets you correct entries that have been falsely reported. And finally, you can, of course, start your phases, post goods movements, etc. So this is all integrated to the ERP. So you can configure that information transfer from the DMC to the ERP and the warehouse system is immediate, so that the backend always know what the production is doing. Okay, and with this, I'm handing over to my colleague, Eugenia.
Okay. So when it comes to production monitoring, we can see that the DMC will provide you with multiple functionalities. And here we want to highlight the pre-delivered overall equipment effectiveness monitoring tool. So this is included in the Insight solution. It's a standard KPI that will be calculated, of course, based on the quality, availability, and performance. And as Alex just mentioned before, this KPI can be actually displayed at the different hierarchy levels. So you can actually display this at a plant level, or you can drill down and go to the individual resource to perform root cause analysis and identify what are issues for performance, for example. So in this way, you can really monitor what's happening in real time in your shop floor. Then we see these custom monitoring tools and dashboards. So this will enable us to create our own production operator dashboards. So The POD, or production operator dashboard, is the interface that the operator will use to perform or execute the production. And this, we have talked a lot about it in our previous webinars, and you will see in our demo today that we will use it to execute the different steps in production. And why we say they're custom is because there are some standard PODs that are pre-delivered, but even these standard PODs, we can actually design them with a very simple interface. Just dragging and dropping, we can select what functions we want our operator to see when performing the production. We might need our operator to see a particular graph with a sensor data coming from the machine, or we might need our operator to log non-conformances, so we want to put that button in. So this is a very important tool that will enable us to design the production, to design the interface as per the business requirements, and then to monitor the production process in all the different steps. So then for the next point here, we talk about the automation part of the DMC. So Alex mentioned before this tight shop floor integration that is enabled by DMC. So you can actually connect your machines from and to the shop floor by using the machine integration layer. And this bi-directional communication can be used on the one side to bring valuable information that you can consolidate using the insights module. And on the other side, you can actually control your machines from the DMC without real human intervention. So for example, you can create a digital twin of your production process within the cloud, and then deploy this production process to the shop floor. So this will provide the advantage of managing your processes centrally. And with the production process monitor, which is mentioned here in the slide, you can quickly react in case you have any error within this automatic process, and identify the root cause of execution failure, or, for example, high defect rates. So if we bring this to a very concrete, simple example, we could think about a process that we design in DMC, where a condition or an event, such as the pressure, will trigger, for example, the start of a production and this automatic production process that we have designed. And when the value is over a certain limit, for example, 2 bars, this production process will be triggered. So in this case, some actions may automatically occur, like, for example, the machine will stop, or a non-conformance will automatically be logged. So this is these production processes that can automatically run can be then monitored with this tool that we outlined. So then finally, we talk here about the line monitor, which is a functionality that has been developed especially for the process industry, since it will allow you to have a full visibility on what is happening to your production line, and this from different perspectives. So you will see this from a quality perspective, asset, OEE, so overall equipment effectiveness, and from a production perspective. So if we go to the next slide, we will see this in more detail. Yep. So here you can see the line monitor will help you to track from a top-level production lines to real individual resources, and all centrally in one application. So as all the other PODs in DMC, so this line monitor is a production operator dashboard. And as I said before, it can be created easily in the PO designer. And just by dragging and dropping, you decide which are the out-of-the-box functionalities you want to display in your monitor. So you can choose between the different perspectives, like we could select, we want to check the production perspective. So we want to display easily what is the current production status in all our production lines, or even going down to the individual resource and check actual production versus planned production, and even the order details. Then we can see a quality overview of the yield, for example, and scrap within the different resources and process orders. And we can even embed IoT sensor data to help the operators visually identify what are the anomalies, or see the particular, I don't know, temperature of our oven or a pressure of our particular resource, and monitor it from this quality overview. And then we have an asset perspective, where we have a dashboard to keep track of our production assets, their availability. We can see some indicators like the top 5 availability losses. And finally, we have an overall equipment effectiveness perspective, where we get a general overview of availability, performance, and quality indicators. And again, this will help us then monitor into down to the individual resource what is happening in real time in our shop floor. So then when it comes to production reporting, with the product history report and the product genealogy report, we can display the activity of a batch over the time, and also the details of the data collected during the production process. So within these 2 reports, we can actually see what happened with our batch throughout all the production process. So we will display the material that was consumed. We will track what components go into what batch, when, where, what time, which operator, what work instructions were used. We can really see all what happened to our batch, and this will help us, of course, to track and see the history of all our production records. Then here we talk about custom reporting tools. So this is a functionality, and again from the Insights module, where we can actually design our own dashboards with the KPIs that we choose. So this can be either standard KPIs or custom KPIs that we choose how to display, and we might need a dashboard that combines our cycle time with I don't know, the orders that are started on time, and we can publish these dashboards in new tiles. This is not only for KPIs, but also we can create custom reports with some transactional data to, for example, create a report with all my non-conformances and so on. So as you can see here in the next slide, DMCs are really a fully adaptable and modular solution. So when Alex presented the first part, what are the benefits of the cloud, we can really see this in DMC. So in order to get this end-to-end batch management that you'll need, and to fully track and trace your production process, you can, with DMC, adapt your solution as you need. So DMC will provide you with these pre-delivered or standard functionalities as production operator dashboard for execution or pre-delivered KPIs for monitoring. But since it is a cloud solution that's growing and expanding in each quarterly release, you will see that new services and functionalities are developed in standard. So the solution will be growing and expanding, and you can benefit from that. And you can also create new services and APIs with the DMC extensibility, or even connect external applications to then manage all centrally in one place. So that's one of the biggest benefits of DMC, to have multiple possibilities to plug in your different functionalities or systems that you need into only one platform. So in this next slide, we can see how a possible setup for DMC can be done. So this is from an IT point of view. So we can see an architecture setup where we can see for our mission critical components, we might decide to use DMC Edge, that is down to the left. So we can bring the applications closer to the source of data and in the shop floor to enable faster decision making and to operate with intermittent connectivity to the cloud. So we could do this with, for example, order execution. So we see here the POD, or data collection, or machine data processing. So we can imagine that these applications are deployed on the edge, whereas for reporting purposes, like the line monitor that we have seen, or the insights applications, this will be held in the cloud. So this will allow us to have the benefits of both cloud for huge computing power, for processing large amounts of data, and the edge for low latency, fast response, and ensure connectivity. In our next slide, we want to highlight the integration possibilities that we have with DMC. So on the top, we see DMC integrated to different cloud solutions. So first, we have the SAP Analytics Cloud that enables to enrich data in the Analytics Cloud with manufacturing information. And you can also include analytics stories into your insights solution on the DMC side. Then we see IBP here. So you can improve your end-to-end visibility in the supply chain by integrating the IBP control tower to the DMC. So you can go from IBP control tower directly to the plant insights solution in DMC to understand what is happening at the individual work center level. So you can perform root cause analysis to a very detailed level by connecting both solutions. We have the integration to the asset management, which is crucial when it comes to optimizing the collaboration between manufacturing processes and maintaining the asset. Then, of course, out-of-the-box integration to S/4HANA and SAP ERP. As we will see now in the demo, we have the integration to the PP module for production planning, for creating the production orders and sending them to the DMC. QM module for logging the quality inspections, for example. Then you can see it's integrated to the extended warehouse management solution. So this we have already done a webinar, especially where we outline this integration between DMC and EWM. So if you're interested, you can go ahead and check it. And finally, we have already mentioned this out-of-the-box integration with the shop floor, and this is done through Pico, so plant connectivity, and then the edge solutions. So now that we have gone through all these concepts, we will go through the demo where we will show you some basic functionalities on DMC for the process industry. In this case, we'll have David, that is a production planner, and we'll create a production process order on the S4 system, which will be automatically sent to the DMC. So in the DMC, he will release the order, and Sandra, the production operator, will start processing the different steps of the order. So there will be some material consumption, quality inspection activities, some post-production reporting, and finally, we will show you how you can see the full history of your batch. So now I will hand over to my colleague Alex, who will start with the demo.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm still logging into the systems. Now, first of all, we are going to go into our ERP system, where we'll create a process order, in this case, under the T code COR1. For this, we have created a material called PIS 1000, which is basically a powder, and we're going to create an aroma, basically, which is ananas flavoring. So for this, we're going to produce a total quantity of 1 kilogram at the current date, and we're going to release it right away. So as we can see here, we have the scrap material. This is automatically measured. So we said, okay, when we produce 1 kilogram of this, we're having 1 gram of scrapping material, like every time we produce this. So now when we release this, this order is going to be directly transferred to the DMC, and we're going to save it. Now, when we take a look again into the respective order, we will get an error message that or an information that the respective order that we have created is distributed to the MES system and will be changed synchronously, or will be synchronized automatically. Now, when we go to assignments, we can see that we have created an inspection lot, which is important when we want to look into certain inspection characteristics and report these inspection characteristics during the production. Now, the operations we're going to perform are basically two. So we have the two different actions with respectively one phase. So first of all, we do the emulsification and batch blending, and then we do the agitation and harmonization. And so yeah, we have basically two different actions producing 1 kilogram in each of these actions. Then we can look at the material list. We have in total 4 different materials that we're going to consume during the production. We have the requirement quantity and so on and so forth. Now, when we take a look at the operations again, we can see the inspection characteristics as well. And we have one inspection characteristic, which is viscosity. We have the specification of 0 to 55 plus, which is the respective calculation. So this is at the range where we're going to handle this. Now, as we have saved all of this, we can go into the DMC, and we can, let me just take this. And here we have the typical Fiori design that when you have watched our previous webinars have already seen. And here we can first of all go into the manage orders application. And we will see our order is at the very top, which is 1089, and it is not an execution. Now, as we can see here, we have all the relevant information come from the ERP system. We have the batch number, we have the inspection lot number, production quantity, plant bombs, the plant phases that I have shown also within the ERP system, and we're going to release this order now and send it to the shop floor basically. Now, as we have released the order with the charge US 2361, we can start producing the order. Now, therefore, we have developed our custom process order POD, which is basically what Eugenia and I talked about, that we just use different standard plugins and drag and drop them into the production operate design. Here we can see the order at the very start again, no, at the very bottom here, 1089, and we're going to go into production right now. Here we have a lot of information again. At the top we can see the information to the respective order ID. Here we have phase details, so which phase we're in, what how the description is, what the plant resource is that we are going to produce this phase on, and we have different menu buttons that all contain different information. So we have the work instructions, we have the quantity confirmation, which we're going to do at the very end. We have the material consumption, activity confirmation, and so on and so forth. So we're going to start with the material consumption. So when I click on consume, you can see the materials that we have that we want to consume. So in this case, we want to consume PIC 1001. Which is not batch managed, which is at the specific storage location, and we want to consume 100 or 100 grams basically. Here you can also add a comment if you need to, and this is then going to be consumed. When I click on confirm, a confirmation is also sent back, or material consumption is going to be sent back to the ERP system, and so that the inventory is going to be updated there as well. So yeah, this we have done. What we can also do, if we have the integration, we can weigh the material, and if we have integrated certain scales, we can do this in we have connected the scales to the DMC, and we can weigh our material and see whether the weight is in a certain or is as we need it. Then co-products and byproducts. So when we have defined co-products and byproducts, as I've mentioned before, we can perform goods consumptions here, or goods receipts here, that we have some byproducts during our production that we have that are scrapped. Now, activity confirmation. Here we can basically say, okay, what activities do we have performed? So this is also coming from the ERP system, and basically how much time we have needed to perform these applications. So to perform our production processes. Here we are just going to confirm it, and the activities have confirmed successfully. Now, coming to the quality inspection. Here we have the respective inspection log that we have seen within the ERP system. And what we now have to do is to create an inspection point. So this we're going to do right now. We're going to select the time right now as well. And we're going to create an event and going to save it. Now, as the inspection point is created, okay, there it is. We see the viscosity, and then we have seen in the ERP system, we see the recording method, and here we can also see the specification again. So this is the range we are allowed to insert the data into. So this is what I'm going to do. Here I'm going to say maybe 20 pass. The evaluation is in range, and we can add a comment as well, which is all being sent back to the ERP system. Now we can do the quantity confirmation. We're going to report the quantity we have produced and the quantity that we have scrapped. And with this quantity confirmation, we are allowed to basically finish. I forgot to start the operation. We are basically able to, or allowed to, complete the operation and go to the next phase. This is what I'm going to do. And now we're going to have the agitation and harmonization, which we will start, which has its own work instructions, material consumptions, activity confirmation, data collections, whatever you're assigned to it within the recipe. And we can also complete this. Yeah, of course, we have to make the quantity confirmation. Otherwise, it's not allowing us to proceed with this operation. Now, I'm going to report the quantity confirmation again, and we're going to say it's the final confirmation, and now we basically have produced our product. Now, what I also can do is I can do the goods receipt that is then being sent to the production, to the ERP system, basically saying, okay, we're finished. We have goods receipt of a finished good with ananas flavoring. And we're going to say that we have quantity of 1 kilogram, and we're going to confirm it. Now we have everything in place. We can see the postings that I've done, and we are finished with production. And with this, I'm going to hand over to my colleague Eugenia again.
So what we're going to do right now, we have only some minutes left. So we'll show you very fast once after you have used the production operator dashboard. So Alex shown you the standard functionalities we can do. We can also use this post-production reporting, POD. So with this POD, we're going to be able to perform in our example some data collection that we could imagine was manually done, and it was not possible for the operator to input the values when he was executing the production. So we could imagine this was paper-based, the data collection, and we want to input it now and to report the values. So if we go to this post-production reporting, the interface is quite similar. So we'll go into our order, and we can see we have the different phases and the goods received. So main difference here is the display. So here we can see we have the phase information, plant values, reported values, the material consumption. So here Alex consumed one of the components, but I could choose to consume another one from here. So for example, I will consume like PIC 2000. Sorry, I will input 0.5 as consumption, and I will save the data. Oh, well, I have an error message. This I'll need to check. There might be some problem, but normally we could post consumption of components from this interface. Well, here I have an alert message, so the system will let me know what is my problem. Then I have a quantity confirmation. I can also choose here to post, yield, or scrap. But then what I was interested in doing was the data collection, because we said it probably was an operation that I could not do during the execution, and I want to input the values right now. So for example, the mix of the color could be yellow, temperature of, I don't know, 22, and the mixer speed 50 RPM. I can put some notes if I want, or just save the data. So here my data collection is recorded. And then, as you have seen, you can go through the different data and adjust also if necessary. So very quickly, another application we wanted to show you is the product history. So we have mentioned that within this process industry, it is very important to have this full traceability of the production process. So here we are actually able to select either by batch or by charge to display the history of what happened during production. So this is the batch that was created for our process order. And we will be able to see here then the full history of what happened. So in our phase, we can see the full activity log with what happened each time. So the assembly data, the inventory ID, which was used to consume the component. So this was peak 1001. This was the inventory ID. So we can have a full traceability on what happened, what component was really consumed, when it was completed, what routing, which phase, how much was scrapped. We can really have a full overview. If we had, well, here we have logged some data collection, so we can see here, mix of color, yellow, temperature, that's what I have just done. We can see if we had logged some non-conformances, we would see them here. We can see the work instructions that were available for this operation. So here there were no work instructions, but we could attach them. This, we have shown it in our previous webinars. And yeah, it's a very easy to use application where you will find all detail about production. So I guess that with that, we have covered all the main functionalities and we might be on time.
So with that, yeah, thank you very much for listening or attending to our webinar. I hope you could find some useful information for you. If you have any questions also after our webinar today, feel free to contact us. We're always happy to talk about the DMC. And yeah, stay tuned for other webinars that are definitely coming up in the future.